Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Deja Vu Survival where we look at an old world with new eyes. My name is Glitch. Today we are starting at the Nether because we are going to be mining for Ancient Debris, one of the new resources that was added in version 1.16. Now between episodes I came back to the ruin portal to dig around and see if I might be able to find that loot chest. And unfortunately, when I did find it, I'm down here, the contents of the chest, actually, you know what? We're going to just quick little privacy here. The chest was empty. Now, I did some looking, and it looks like this may be just a temporary bug, but I'm also going to include a link to the bug report in the description down below. While that was a little bit on the disappointing side, hello fellas. Are we cool? Oh, good. Well, it was a little on the disappointing side to find an empty loot chest. I did also find this cave, which leads us out to the lava lake on the other side. Our base is right up there. And this cave will be actually, I think, kind of useful in the coming episodes. But in the next episode or two when we go further exploring. Beyond checking out the portal, my goal for today is to upgrade at least one tool or piece of armor, and if possible, look at how the new Lodestone works. That being said, when you mine for Ancient Debris, you will need to get down to the same kind of Y level that you do when you're looking for diamonds. Which means that we are going to be digging underneath some of these lava oceans. So fire resistance potions are a must. And also, you want to bring along some extra iron so that you can swap out tools. I don't have mending on any of my tools yet, although between episodes I also was able to seriously upgrade my Silk Touch pickaxe. But you will be going through a lot of netherrack, so some extra iron is a good idea. Stone tools are pretty much disposable and they work in a pinch. Especially since we're dealing with netherrack, but since we have the iron, I figure we might as well use it. Beyond that, you want to also make sure you bring a decent shovel with you, because you are likely going to have to clear out a good amount of gravel while you're mining. Now, one last thing that I crafted up with a couple of the ender pearls we got in the last episode was an ender chest. To craft an ender chest, you will need an ender pearl and also some blaze powder. And this will give you an Eye of Ender. We're going to go ahead and make two. Now, the Eye of Ender is first off used to help find the stronghold to go to the end dimension. But if, in a crafting table, you surround your Eye of Ender with obsidian, you will get an ender chest. Now, the first time you make these items, I would recommend making two of them, and that is because of their primary function, a universal inventory. So the way an ender chest works is that as long as one exists in the world, it will contain the items that are placed in it wherever you are, and you have access to those. So if we place one down here at the Cleft 2.0, let's just go ahead and put one here by our bed. Now if we place this down and then we open it up and then place, let's just place these couple of stacks of wool in there. Those items would be available anywhere in the world if I look in an ender chest. Now, it doesn't duplicate the items, but rather it retains the information for what you put in there. So if I come across the room and place another one down over here, you open it up and the wool is available. Now, this is also specific to the player that placed the chest. So if you place one and then another player were to look inside, they would only be able to see the items they put in their own chest, or if they have never placed one before, they would just see an empty chest. Now, you always want to make sure that you leave one in a secure location, because if you place items in there and then uh, move the chest, but do not have another one somewhere else in the world, and something happens where either you die in lava or the ender chest is broken and it falls into lava and it's destroyed, you will lose those items. I always leave one here in my base. Usually, when my regular survival world, I actually have a treasure vault that I built, but I always leave one right there. But the other caveat that you must remember with an ender chest is that it does require a silk touch tool to move it, because if you try to move it without that, it will break and you will only get the obsidian back and your 8 obsidian back, and you will not get the Eye of Ender back. And if it happens to be the only one you ever put in the world, again, your items would be lost. But I have Preserver with me, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, Ancient Debris can generate anywhere between y equals 17 and y equals 8. So, for your mine, you will want to aim for something in the middle. After a couple hours of mining around in my original survival world, it seems that y equals 13 is about the best place for Bedrock Edition. I haven't had a chance to test this in Java Edition yet, but after just asking around with friends who primarily play in that version, it seems that the Ancient Debris is a little narrower, being between y equals 17 and y equals 12. So you might want to shoot for around y equals 14 or 15 to be somewhere in the middle of that. So to start things off, I think we're going to go straight off from our entrance here and go ahead and start digging our way down. And just to keep any of the piglins from getting too curious, we're going to pop a soulfire campfire right there. Now, I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to dig my way staircase down to the right Y level, so I will be right back. Now that we're down at Y level 13, let's go ahead and set up a little bit of a base camp. Real quick, while I was off camera, I decided, since I dug down, to go ahead and take some cobble and build an actual staircase up. That will save us a lot of hunger as we go. Even though you can see that my hunger bar is just digging down here, it ripped through my hunger bar pretty fast. Now let's go ahead and we have a crafting table here, and let's go ahead and place our ender chest down. Now, one other important thing to remember with when you're in the Nether is that piglins will aggro anytime they hear a chest opened, even player-placed chests. This is the same. It's the same way they do when you're mining gold, and yes, that does include specialty chests like an ender chest or even a shulker box. So that kind of limits your options for managing story. I mean, as you can see, just getting down here, with the stuff we brought, plus the stuff that all the netherrack I wound up gathering, just trying to get down here, we're already dealing with a pretty full inventory. Now, one current workaround we have for this is a chest minecart. So let's go ahead and you'll need a piece of rail to do this, and I went ahead and just grabbed one of the leftovers one from when we did our pumpkin farm. But I'm going to go ahead and take some of the iron we have and make a minecart. And if we have one minecart, we can do a minecart with chest. Now, like I said, you have to have a piece of rail down to place it down, but the minecart with chest does not have an opening animation. So if you click on it, there you go. It will go ahead and open, and there's no animation, which at present doesn't seem to bother the pigment. Now, one caveat I do want to add there is unfortunately I noticed that this is going to change in version 1.16.2 in the Java edition. Looking at the changelog for the pre-release 1, it included a note that said piglins will now become angry if a player opens a chest minecart. Having read that, I went back through and looked at um, all the different changelogs for the betas for Bedrock, and I didn't see anything that lists that. But if Java's going in that direction, it's only a matter of time before the feature will come to Bedrock. So let's enjoy it while we have it. Since that means you have more room for placing your valuables in the Ender chest to keep them safe. Now, when it comes to mining for ancient debris, you have a couple of options open to you. And in truth, most of them are the same options as you have in the overworld. So let's just go ahead and, now that we're down at this Y level, let's just go ahead and pick a direction and start digging. And since looking up in that direction is further into the new chunks, so let's go ahead and dig in here. Also remember, in the Nether, you want to be very careful digging through netherrack like this, because you can run into little pockets of lava. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's go ahead and drop some of this stuff off. And might need that later. If we brought a little gold. That way, if we run into piglins, we may be able to do a little bartering here and there, but we'll see what happens. All right, that opens up space. You know what? We'll leave the building materials down too. And the reason for the slabs is just so we can sort of spawn-proof this area. All right, so let's go ahead and dig it across here and place down a torch and dig here and. Now there was, if my memory serves, a cave in this direction. Yes. Oh, hello. All right, let's go ahead and break that out. And go ahead and drop that in there. Go ahead and break one more out. All right. So you have the ability to go caving. And you know what? Just so the piglins leave us alone, let's leave a soul torch here as well. So if you opt for caving, you will encounter mobs like piglins, zombified piglins. If you have a large open area like this, if it is not properly lit up, you will encounter things like magma cubes, and also in this particular cave, I actually encountered a ghast once. Oh, what's through here? Nothing through here. All right, let's go ahead and light that up. But you'll also be able to find some of the good resources, such as the such as your gold, your quartz, and you know what? There are no piglins. Oh, hi. That was almost not fun, because he would have gotten mad. All right, well, let's just take a look around. I want to stay on task today, so we're just going to go ahead and try and look for the ancient debris. We'll just look around. If memory serves, there wasn't really anything in this cave. Nope, dead end. All right. Oh, I'm so tempted to grab this while I'm here. Well, you know what we could do? You go that way. All right, no, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Hee hee hee. All right, and while he cannot get, yeah, he can't get through. Go ahead and. Now you can hear they're mad, and he's trying to get here. Now the good part is their aggro will eventually wear off. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to grab all this. You do want to be careful, of course, if they have a crossbow. But you know what? Since we have some gold, let's just go ahead and... Hey! Interested? You're not interested? Oh, come on! Ah, now you are. Oh, please don't get distracted by the pigman. Yeah, you run. Run away. Run away. The good news is the zombified piglins will also scare the piglin, the regular piglins, so he actually lost his aggro. What did he give us anyways? Oh, some fire charges. They can come in handy. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to carefully break around here. And let's come... Oh, make it through here? Yes. Okay, good. Excuse me. All right, we're going to come back through here. And you see now his aggro, now that he's been distracted by gold, his aggro is gone. And in truth, that will wear off eventually. But it looks honestly like this cave isn't all that huge. So let's take a couple of minutes. I'm going to take a couple of minutes to look around and see if I can find anything. And if I do find anything of use or importance, I will come back. So once again, I will be right back. So after looking around that cave for a while, pretty much the only thing of value that I found was a little over a dozen nether gold ore, which, while that's valuable, it's not what we came here for. So let's go ahead and drop that into our ender chest. And you know what? We'll go ahead and put the fire charges in there as well. Now, since the cave didn't prove that profitable, I think we're going to go in the opposite direction and try and use good old-fashioned branch mining. And I think what we'll do is, let's just go ahead, and I want to stay at Y13, so let's just do this. And alright, let's go ahead and do this. And you know what? Do I? Yes, I do. And I can't place that on top of the slab, so let's put that there. That'll keep the piglins out. And let's just go ahead and dig over a little bit. Now, I know we can't go too far in this direction due to the fact that if we keep going in this direction, we would eventually hit the chunks where the Nether fortress is. So let's go ahead and I think we'll turn right here. Make sure there's no lava. All right, and let's go ahead and light this up. So I'm going to go ahead and dig a tunnel in this direction, for about 200 blocks or so. I'm going to leave the recording running, and we'll look at anything interesting that pops up. But I'll probably cut out a lot of the actual digging just for time's sake. So I will be right back. Well, that was a whole lot of work and not much to show for it. So we've dug our tunnel for just shy of 200 blocks, and I have yet to find one piece of ancient debris, which does bring up the fact that ancient debris is actually more rare than diamonds in Minecraft. Personally, I have found a vein of 8 diamond ore in the overworld, but according to the Minecraft Wiki, ancient debris will generate in a maximum of 3 blocks per vein, and it will generate a max of 5 blocks per chunk at world generation, which makes this a lot more of a needle in the netherrack type of situation. Because even if we do branch mining, we're just not going to expose enough material. Take our basic 2x1 tunnel that we would use in branch mining in the overworld. Now, normally, a tunnel of this size would probably have, we'd probably have come across something, coal, diamonds, redstone, something. But all we found is netherrack, and I think, I think I saw some quartz in the floor somewhere along the way. But even if we go off in branches in different directions, we're not going to generate. We still potentially will miss the ancient debris in the walls on the other sides here. So I think we're going to turn to a more explosive means of mining, because that will remove a lot of the excess netherrack, and it should leave less spawnable space due to the uneven craters that the mining will leave behind. Now, there are a few options if you want to blast away material and hopefully expose a lot of debris. First off, there's good old TNT. Between episodes, I went back to base and scoured the chest for any, and I found 2 things. One, my storage system is an unmitigated disaster. And two, I had one piece left from mining. So the good news is that you can craft up TNT from gunpowder and sand. The bad news is that takes a good bit of gunpowder. Over time, I built up a decent stockpile in my original survival world, but that would take too long for this series. And I've never really been successful at creeper farms, and plus, they seem to break every other update. So I wound up using some of those speed potions that we brewed up a few episodes ago, and went ghast hunting. So about an hour and 3 or 4 potions later, I had a decent 3/4 of a stack of gunpowder. So if you want to use TNT, what you want to do is stand right against one of the walls, and we'll just go ahead and do this on this side. And you want to basically dig out as far as your pickaxe will reach. And then go ahead and place your TNT as far in as you can go. Now you can light this with either redstone or a flint and steel. And so what we do is we go ahead and we click it to prime it, back off, and wait for the kaboom. And now one of the good things is that TNT does have a 100% drop rate. One of the kind of surprising things is that they are not that the other things that is that it doesn't start any fires. So, but it's got a decent boom, but not a lot. So looking around, let's go ahead and light this up. And unfortunately, it looks like we have a little bit of quartz, but unfortunately, this particular area we don't seem to have. You can go ahead and clear out some of the excess material and see. One of the things that did kind of soften the explosion a little bit was all this blackstone. Now, if there are any in the ceiling, and this honestly will go up pretty close to the height of a lava ocean if it's up there. But if there's anything up there, you don't have to worry if lava comes down out of the ceiling, because Ancient Debris is both blast proof and it also doesn't burn in lava. Now, this is a decent method, but it does cost quite a bit, because just with what we have, I've only got enough for roughly 5 pieces of 9 pieces of Ancient Debris. There are some people that can do math and some people who can't. I happen to be one that cannot. But there is another method, which is to use beds. I briefly mentioned back in episode 15 that if you try to sleep in a bed in either the Nether or the End, the bed will explode and make a decent sized crater, but also start a lot of fires. Now, while that does mean that you can't sleep, we can use that mechanic for a cheaper explosion. Now, incidentally, it is a wise thing to bring a crafting table with you if you're going to use this method, because unlike TNT, beds do not stack. But the method for mining with a bed is pretty much the same as TNT. Pick a spot, dig in as far as your pickaxe will reach, and then you want to place down the bed. Now, one other caveat with this method is you as the player need to interact with the bed to make it explode. Meaning you have to be close enough to touch it. But that's where your shield comes in handy. Shields absorb a lot of blast damage and are relatively cheap to both make and repair. So once you place your bed, Go ahead and hold shift to put your shield up. Kind of come around the corner as much as you can, just seeing the edge of the bed. Click on the bed, and the shield takes the pounding, but the player does not. And like I said, we're going to have to clear out a serious amount of gravel, but let's take a look at what we have. And also there's some, let's see, we also have some lava, but that's, again, not too huge of a problem. Let's see if we, over there. Oops, I didn't want to do that. And did we get skunked again? Okay, let's see if we can get up here. Block. And if I take the source block out right there, there we go, that's got it. Aha! And we have our first piece of ancient debris. Let that lava go down a little bit. And let's go ahead and put out these fires. And I think I'm going to quick light. I will leave the. Another thing I have a habit of doing, just like in the overworld, is I will clear out a lot of this gravel because I have found many pieces of many diamond, and even case in point, and also ancient debris in the walls here. So with ancient debris, just like diamonds, you want to kind of dig around it. Now, one thing to remember is that it does require a minimum of a diamond pickaxe to mine it. And it kind of has, well, it has a really cool, you don't have to have a specific enchantment on it. Fortune is not going to get you more of it, and you don't have to have soak touch. But like mining in the Nether, anywhere, you need to be careful, so you want to just kind of break behind it, and just to make sure that there's no pockets of lava, more for your sake. Oh my, wait. Huh. Whoa, okay, so we have hit a really good vein. So here we have three whole blocks of ancient debris on the first bed. And I mean, it looks kind of cool texture-wise, but we're going to need a lot more of this to be able to practically use it. So let's go ahead and grab this. Oh, come on, dude. Oop. There's 2 and 3. As a side note, I have heard of a few Minecrafters using end crystals to mine for debris, which are a late game item that we could technically craft now that we have access to gas tiers, ender pearls, and blaze powder. Now, one reason for this is that they do have an even larger explosion than beds, and they don't start fires. However, at an Eye of Ender, a gas tier, some glass, and the fact that you must place them down on a block of obsidian, that is a little too expensive to do over a large area. That being said, any of these methods work, and you're just going to have to weigh out the material cost versus the time. In my original survival world, I actually used a combination of TNT and beds because I had built up a decent amount of TNT from exploring throughout my world. But after a while, I switched to beds because I was running low on the TNT and I wanted to speed things up a bit. In the end, however, it is your choice as to which method you end up using. For me, I came down here looking for as much debris as I could get a hold of. So, it's time to make some noise. We already have our 200 block tunnel, and I'm planning to use up the TNT that I have left and as many beds as it takes to clear out this area. So while the underground fireworks commence, please enjoy a somewhat traditional selection from the YouTube audio library. Let's get started. That was a lot of fun. And for our efforts, we wound up with a total of 21 ancient debris. And my shield, well, it's looking pretty rough. But I can fix that up later. I also made sure to fix up the different branches of the mine. That way I can easily continue in those directions. And by the way, yes, even though I said that end crystals are a little too expensive, well, for the purposes of the tutorial, I figured, why not? But looking at the old footage that I have in this series, I could easily go to the end of the tunnel that we dug and branch off at a right angle in either direction, since at that point we'll always be in new chunks. But for now, I think I'm going to go ahead and tuck the valuables away, because not only did we get a bunch of ancient debris, but I also got a load of nether quartz and also some nether gold ore, even though I got attacked by a piglin or two and a random enderman here and there. But I'm going to go ahead and tuck the valuables into the ender chest, and then I'll duck back to the nether reach. I'll meet you there. As I said before, ancient debris is a pretty good looking block, but its main purpose within the game is to be turned into netherite, which is another one of the new resources that was added to Minecraft in version 1.16. So to get your netherite, you're going to have to take your ancient debris and smelt it up in a furnace. Now this will work with either a regular furnace or a blast furnace, but once you place it in there, you are going to get a piece of netherite scrap. Now we just need to wait for a couple more of these. Once we have the netherite scrap, it must be combined with gold to make the actual netherite. And you cannot do this outside of a crafting table. Okay, we'll let the rest of that cook up. So then you take it into a crafting table. Oops, I forgot our gold. Let's go ahead and grab that. So then you take the netherite and you place it into the crafting table. There must be 4 pieces of netherite scrap and also 4 gold ingots, and this will give you a single netherite ingot. Now, on its own, you can't really do anything with this, but what you need to do is take 2 pieces of iron and 4 planks, and this will allow you to make the smithing table. Now, we've had this block for a little while, but it really didn't have a use up until now. So we're going to go ahead and place that down, and then once you have this, since it really looks like our armor, aside from our gold helmet, which gold cannot be upgraded to netherite, our armor's doing pretty good. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, since I've got such a good sword at the moment, is I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my sword. And then you just place the item in, you place in your netherite ingot, and then it doesn't cost any XP levels, but then you now have a netherite sword, which has even higher durability than diamond, and also has a little bit better of an enchantment rate. And though, to be perfectly honest, in my mind, diamonds are forever. This is a survival series, and the goal is to, well, survive. So, with what we have in Ancient Debris, we have enough to probably upgrade our armor, and I'll probably, between now and the next episode, do a little more mining so we can upgrade everything, but we'll still need one piece of gold armor to keep the piglins from aggroing on us. But one other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead, and we're going to... Do I still have my gold? Yes, I do. I'm going to go ahead and make one more ingot. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a lodestone. Now, to make a lodestone, you need... I have the stone. You need chiseled stone bricks, which you can get a 1-for-1 ratio using the stone cutter. And then you combine those in a crafting table. Where'd they hide it? Oh, it's actually under building materials. Okay. So then you have a lodestone. I know this may sound counterintuitive, but you'll understand my reasoning why I want to do a lodestone here in a moment. So the lodestone basically is a new block that was added to the game in 1.16, and when you craft it using the netherite ingot and the eight chiseled stone bricks, it acts as a waypoint in the nether. Once you have one, you can place it down anywhere. Let's go ahead and place it here by our front door. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and break. And no. Oh, that is not the block I wanted to break. Let's pop that back in here. And, you know, we'll just put this right up here in the corner. And then you can go ahead and you can take a compass, which ordinarily does not work in the nether. You'll notice it's flying all over the place. That's because we've never been able to set our spawn in the nether. However, if you click a compass on the lodestone, now it has that kind of glow, and you'll notice it stopped moving. But if I move anywhere around, it will now point towards that lodestone. And if you ever need to move the lodestone, you can go ahead and just re-click on it with your with the compass, and it will reset it. Now, one other thing to remember with compasses also is they work in your hotbar, but also they're one of the few. Oh, actually, they do work in your hotbar, and in the overworld, you can actually. Well, they're one of the few items that you can hold in your offhand. But the other thing you can do is you can take them to your anvil, and you can rename the compass. And we'll go ahead and. Oops. Nether reach. And now the compass is renamed, and no matter where we go in the nether, it will always point our way to this location. And you can do this for any number of compasses and just rename them to keep them organized. But that will help you as you go out and explore throughout the nether. And explore we shall. Now that we found some ancient debris, I want to get out and do some more exploring throughout the nether. You see, thus far we've only encountered the piglins as they wander around, and we've seen them just out and about. But now I think it's time for us to check out their homes and go looking for the bastion. I will confess that has me a little nervous since 1.16.2 has dropped, and now we have the piglin brutes, which will make this a whole lot more interesting. But that is the plan for next time, so we are going to go visiting. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and also consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. My name is Glitch, and I do hope I'll see you next time for the next episode of Deja Vu Survival. Thanks for watching.